So this is literally the front of the engine with everything pulled out, and if you've got this far, you've done really well to follow along. But from here, if you know that you can get this far, you can pretty much service anything on the front of the engine. So that's a quick video of the front. You can see you have really good access to the water pump now. So if you want to do the water pump replacement, this is how far that you have to go. I mean, if you probably can remove the water pump without getting the radiator out of the way, but it makes it so much easier. You can basically access everywhere on front of the engine. You guys, you're going to be wondering, now that you've pulled out the radiator, you've pulled out the intercooler, you've pulled out the evaporator, your whole car is basically in pieces like that. You might ask, how do I flush all these things, or do you have any tips or tricks and things? Well, this is an interesting story, but I'll explain it quickly. People are saying on the internet, if you ever want to refresh the air conditioning on your car, you have to replace this thing. And I've looked around for the prices. The cheapest I could find secondhand is $500. Brand new from Mercedes, they're over $1,000 to replace this unit here. I'm not going to pay that much. I would never pay that much for it. It's just too much money, man. You can't afford to. You guys know that these things are just too expensive. So how to and the justification or the reason that most people have is that the fins and the passageways on this are so thin that they can't be flushed out or anything. You can't use compressed air or a pressure washer to get in there and blast it out. Well, I just have to come up with a way to around that, because I'm not paying $500, I'm not paying $1,000 for a brand new unit. As far as I'm aware, this unit functions fine. There's no leaks or anything like that. It could be the original one that come on the car. You might say, okay, well, what's a cheap way to flush this thing? Well, there's a product called Wurth AC SuperFlush. It comes in a 3-4 litre container, and it's basically designed for flushing out evaporators, flushing out air conditioning lines, and it might be a cheap way of doing it. And this bottle here was about $80 or $100, and it's enough for me to flush the entire air conditioning unit. Well, for me doing the mathematics, it's a lot cheaper for me to spend about $100 on this and a bit of my own time, and I can flush this out, and automatically I'm saving between $500 and $1,000, and then I can flush out the air conditioning lines and things like that. And it comes in a 3 or 4 litre container. You have plenty of it. Okay, so we're back to our video. Now, we were talking about is it worth flushing the system or just replacing all these components and paying a lot more money? Well, I just like to experiment, and if I can help myself and save some money, if I can save you guys some money, that's really good. So this is about $80 or $100 from memory. It's a 3 or 4 litre container. It's specifically designed for flushing the air conditioning lines and for treating aluminium evaporators and systems. As far as I'm aware, a must-have replacement, you must replace the receiver dryer. Again, this could be some speculation, but for the cost of replacing this unit, which goes along the side here, it was about $100 for a brand new Mercedes part. $100 is not too bad. Like, I'm quite happy to replace that, and if they say replace it, they should. But $500 or $1,000, it may be a bit too much. So what have I done here? So I've got the AC SuperFlush. I've got the condenser laying down, and all I've done is connected a line, one of the air conditioning lines, gravity feed, into a funnel. you literally pour the SuperFlush in. It's going to fill up the entire core of the evaporator, and here this is usually where the receiver dryer is, but I don't want the chemical to get into the receiver dryer. So all I've done is looped a bit of tube around and hose clamped it off, and it's just literally sealed the line off. So this whole thing is covered, it's saturated with the SuperFlush, and I know that it's full because I've basically filled up the system from here. It's gone around through the system, and now it's just leaking back out the top there. So I've basically filled it up for the entire core. I'm just going to leave it overnight now and let the solution soak overnight. It does say on the back of the packaging, leave it for 10 or 15 minutes. But for me, I'm just going to experiment and leave it overnight. As far as I'm aware, it's not acidic, it's not corrosive or volatile enough to eat away at the aluminium. So I'm just going to let it sit overnight, and we'll see what it does in the morning. If you're looking at the intercooler now and it's the same story, what do? Do I replace the intercooler? No, you don't have to replace the intercooler if it's not broken. So how do I flush it out? Well, there's plenty of videos on the internet on how you can flush out an intercooler. A lot of people just use degreasers or soaps or methylated spirits or turpentine. I've heard of people using kerosene, as long as it's not too aggressive, because remember, this is Bakelite plastic and this is aluminium. You don't want to go too aggressive. All I've used is a water-based degreaser, heavy duty, and it hasn't been diluted or anything. The core, the entire intercooler literally took the whole 4 liters of the degreaser. I think this was $20 for this container, and again, I'm just going to let the whole thing soak overnight. So I'll leave it 12 hours, come back and flush it out, and that's pretty much it. If the buildup is really bad, I've got methylated spirits, which is basically ethanol, and if it's really greasy and really bad, I'll do another quick flush with the ethanol methylated spirits, and it should be as clean as. As for the exterior, your guess is as good as mine. Just use a pressure washer and some car wash or some soap. Just don't damage the fins or anything like that, and you should be fine. But I think it's always a big question, where is there some secret recipe or something to flushing out the cores of your intercooler or radiator and things? And I don't think there's a secret recipe at all, as long as you just use some general cleaners and make sure to follow it up with a flush out of water. Let it dry thoroughly, because you don't want water in the system. Remember, diesels hate water, so before you put this back on the car, make sure it's thoroughly dry, or blow it out with compressed air. I'm just going to use a leaf blower and blow straight in one side and out the other until it's dry. It's as simple as that. I don't have an air compressor, so I'm just going to use a leaf blower or a garden blower and blow it through. But pretty much that's the story with the intercooler. Again, it's just going to soak overnight. The radiator is just over here. Same story with the radiator. Just clean the radiator as best you can. You can do a soak or a flush. There's plenty of products out there to flush the radiator. I've done it before already, but the radiator's in great condition, so I might just rinse it out with water before I reassemble the whole thing. And that's the story behind all these. you see when you're mounting the radiator back, you have to respect the saddle or the cradle, which is down here. This will be your first point of contact on both sides. It's down in here, and the radiator will basically sit in that hinge section. It's like a saddle or a hinge section. And just remember the waste tap, or the tap is on that side. You have your air conditioning plug also that goes in here for the sensor. You can attach that. Just remember your cooler lines and the gap that they come out of. Make sure they come out on the right side here. And so at this time now, it'll be a good time for these ports, if you have any PAG oil, to put a little bit of PAG oil in the system, maybe 50 mils, 20 or 50 mils, not much. And what you also want to do is, if you've got any UV dye or stop leak, now's the time to add it. Okay, so I'll just quickly show you the PAG oil that I'm running and the leak stop. Now's the time to add it to your system in the driver's side there in the cabin. And now's the time to add a little bit to the evaporator at the front of the system. You won't be adding all of it, because remember, some of it has to go in the AC lines and some of it has to go into the compressor, which is down here. The compressor will take most of the PAG oil and it will take most of the leak stop. We'll have to do that in another video, how to charge it from there. But remember, you just need to add a little bit of the system so it fully circulates. This is just a quick video so you can see the leak stop. I've just filled it in a syringe and I literally squirt it into the system. Most of it goes into the condenser, the evaporator, and those are the main two sort of weak points that I feel that it should go in the system. I might even keep just a little bit left over and squirt it into the actual the aluminium lines, but I think most of it is going to go into the condenser and the evaporator. It will actually, like, it will circulate itself when the pump's running, so you don't have to be, you know, too fussy about where it goes. Just remember that the air conditioning system is a circulating system. As long as you sort of distribute it out a little bit, it should be quite okay. Just quickly showing here how this syringe is really handy at putting the leak stop and the PAG oil. You literally just, it's wedged into there. As you know, this is a one-way system. It will only go through one port, which is the low port on this side. If you try to fill from this side, there's a check valve or a backstop valve. It won't allow you to recharge the system from that side, because the way that the condenser works is it's like a one-way street. So everything that you fill into this system has to be through one hole or the other. You'll soon find out what works and what doesn't. But for me, it's just this one here. So you can see as I push it through the system, it's slowly, literally just filling the condenser. Okay, so I've highlighted down in here that orange bolt, and why is this orange bolt important? You can see the send line and the return line for the air conditioning, because this is the compressor. So I've got those blocked off at the moment because we don't want any contamination. And let's get back to this orange bolt. This is where the PAG oil goes to recharge the oil in the system. So if you want to lubricate the compressor, you just have to get in from the, on my car it's on the passenger side. You make a bit of room. It's good to do it now while sort of everything's moved out of the way in the engine bay, but you literally remove this bolt here, and it's a port where you can pour about 90 to 100 mils of PAG oil. You can remove the compressor at this point. It's just 3 bolts. There's one here. There's another 2 that you can access from underneath the car. But if you like, while the belt is slackened off, you can remove the compressor entirely if you want and give it a clean. I've already given it a clean myself, but you can just recharge the system with oil from here if you like, and you can just leave it on the car. The reason I removed the compressor in the first place was just to clean it up and have a look, but now it's back on the car. I'm just going to remove the bolt, add the oil, and that should be basically good to go. Remember, with your air conditioning system, you want to keep all the dirt and debris out. You don't want a contaminated system. So you can see I'm covering as many things as I can until I reinstall all the air conditioning lines, and then I'll take it to a dealership or an air conditioning place to get the gas recharged into the system, because that's the only thing I don't have the tools to do. So I'll basically do everything else but recharge it with the 134A gas, I think it is.